That's what operates the right-wing media machine. It's people like Fuentes.
Limitless riz and confidence, can-do attitude, responsible, handsome, traditional, assertive. You know, so everything that they associate with a father.
I've seen you do it. I've watched you do it. Oftentimes for like 10, 15 minutes at a time. There's no way Acheeto bought Tucker Carlson Zins, right? This is a joke. So, guys, as you know, I'm sure you know, recently, Asmongold covered Fuentes versus Tucker Carlson, okay? This was a big thing for a lot of right-wingers, I think, because obviously Asmongold hasn't really covered Fuentes directly up until this point. And there is sort of a... Asmongold's an out-and-out accelerationist. But there are a whole bunch of, like, right-wingers, like Sam Hyde types. They're sort of, like, poke and prod at Asmongold because they recognize that he's a total, like, what would you say? Like, he's a bug man, right? He is, like, the archetypal bug man. But also, he could be kind of useful because he is sympathetic to some of their views. So you do see him sort of try and poke and prod and try and get him to cover and get more involved with some of the more hardcore political stuff. So Asmongold did this time. Asmongold saw the Tucker versus Fuentes stuff, which, I mean, we watched it on the stream as well. And I don't know if it's just delivery, but obviously I do, you know, I can't throw stones at anyone for siding with Fuentes in that, because it is very easy to side with Fuentes. I don't know if it's about delivery and charisma, or if it's about Tucker being just so unlikable and so inauthentic, or what it is. But, it's pretty hard to side with Tucker. So everyone has Batman versus Superman for Mexicans that act white. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I think that's pretty accurate. But Acheeto has also covered it in the same vein as Asmongold, because Acheeto, if you don't know, I don't know if anyone's got the clip of him talking about Tectone, where he's saying about Tectone making him want to get up and march. But Acheeto, from a very odd class of person who sort of venerates and idolizes Asmongold and Tectone, which is a terrifying mindset, frankly. If you look at Asmongold and Tectone and see role models, that's frankly terrifying. To the point where he even said he would march through the streets for Tectone. Tectone's delivery just makes him want to march through the streets, just really gets him fired up. I don't know if we've got that clip. I don't have it on hand. But Acheeto has also covered this Fuentes drama. So I want to see what Acheeto says about this. Obviously, for those who don't know, I've spoken to Acheeto about Israel-Palestine once before, because he spoke to the Nux Taku, who, if you don't know, is a Israeli-Canadian VTuber who does right-wing, pro-Israel slop content, like, day in, day out. Like, actually nightmarish to watch. Just some of the most low IQ, unbearable content in the world. But Nux Taku called in to a Acheeto stream, tried to Israel pill him, tried to get him on the Zog train, and it was working pretty well. To be fair to him, I will say Acheeto pushed back and held his ground far more than I expected for just someone that covers random commentary drama and doesn't really have that much of an interest in politics or doesn't spend that much time on it. He actually did hold his ground. But the way you say Acheeto is so wholesome. Okay, I don't know what that means.
The way you say Acheeto is so wholesome.
Thank you for the $10. Huge appreciated. But yeah, did hold his ground better than I expected, but Nox was clearly getting a lot past him. He was, like, excusing the killing of some journalist and shit like that. It was just shameful. Totally shameful. Anyway, we're going to take a look at Acheeto's coverage of the Fuentes stuff. I want to see where he's at.
Obviously, Nick Fuentes has a lot of haters, and there's a lot of what he says that is kind of kooky, but I would be lying if I said that I don't agree with a lot of what he says. That's just the truth of it. And you could say, whoa, but he said this really outrageous thing. He genuinely...
So, great start. Great start. I agree with a lot of what Nick Fuentes says. Okay. I think I see where we're at. I think I'm getting an idea. We'll give it a minute. We'll give it a minute.
believes this. And it's like, okay, that's fine. We're not talking about that. If you're going to bring up something that you know is outrageous, what do you think I'm going to sit here and say, oh, actually, no, that is true? It's like, let's all calm down. I hate whenever there's someone who it's like, you bring up their name and everyone starts fucking panicking. It's so cringe. But yeah, he's beating with Tucker Carlson, and he's kind of, I mean, he's become very mainstream as of recent. The past year has done a lot for him to like break out into the mainstream political world. And I think it's mostly because of the Israel-Palestine stuff, right? Where because of what's happening, and a lot of people are very critical of Israel, and he's always been critical of Israel. Now it's kind of become unavoidable, and he's been collaborating with more and more people and stuff like that. So when Tucker Carlson actually ended up sending some shots at him, I was surprised, because I think for a while, a lot of the more mainstream conservatives were trying to act like he doesn't exist. Like Charlie Kirk, Tucker Carlson, they're all just trying to like do the thing. It's like Streisand effect.
Oh, that's a great moment, actually. I've got a clip to go along with this. So the reason I'm also covering this, I thought Acheeto is just a good person to see through the eyes of, you know, less politically engaged than most other people I watch. But Fuentes is gaining insane ground right now. I saw a clip earlier where apparently Charlie Kirk ended stream because people were asking him to debate Fuentes.
As a TPUSA chapter founder and president, I've seen firsthand how the tide is turning among young conservatives. I say, if you truly believe in open debate in the marketplace of ideas, will you ever be willing to debate Nick Fuentes, or will you wait until his movement forces you to adopt his talking points, as we've seen already?
So this is a TPUSA chapter president that's on call with him right now. This is one of their chapter presidents.
You know, it's funny. I personally do.
So I don't know if you guys have seen the clip, but there was a clip a few weeks ago. In fact, we might go over all this stuff at some point here. Basically, Charlie Kirk did this whole focus group with a bunch of TPUSA people talking about the younger conservatives' attitudes towards Israel, skepticism towards Israel, fatigue with supporting Israel. And after that, Fuentes started like ripping on Charlie Kirk super hard, and basically insinuated, or even maybe explicitly stated, that there were a bunch of like sleeper groypers in Turning Point. That they had basically infiltrated Turning Point completely, and that he was going all out against Charlie Kirk now that it was over. So it's kind of interesting seeing now some chapter president get on call with Charlie Kirk and start asking about Fuentes. It's just like, you can imagine they must be sweating a little bit. They must be sweating.
Do not give a platform to bad faith actors. And I had a whole open about this. And by the way, a really important thing is not to lie and to not bear false testimony. It's fine, I'll answer your question. You know, you said, oh, you know, I want to have a question about...
Dude, his face and head is just so unsettling, isn't it? It's just so insane.
Events. And you obviously lied about your question. Doesn't surprise me, because...
No one should look like that.
You have deceit. But you know what? Honestly,
nobody should look like that.
I don't platform trolls. And I don't platform, and I don't discuss people, or I don't debate with people that are not good faith actors. And
you debate Maoists and people who champion...
They can keep on yelling at how successful we are and our big events and well over 1,000 employees.
So you must just kick that guy there, right? So it's literally the same bullshit excuse people always give, not the base. Oh, bad faith actor, bad faith actor. We'll call him a troll. Say Fuentes is just a troll. That's absurd. Like, this guy is actually one of the most influential people in your movement, whether you like it or not. And it's only increasing. It's only increasing. And it's obvious, too. Like, Fuentes' rise has been, like, so obvious and telegraphed for years. And they must have, like, it's an obvious consequence of everything they feed into. Because Fuentes is just the guy actually saying it, you know? All the bitching and crying about immigration and demographics and shit like that doesn't make any sense unless you're willing to actually come out and say the shit that Fuentes is willing to say. It's sort of like we were watching Ezra Klein talk to, who's the Israeli guy? The Israeli NatCon, who actually disavows Fuentes. But what Ezra Klein was saying to this guy was basically like, well, listen, if you're not saying that there's something different about these other, less trustworthy, about these other groups of immigrants, then I don't really understand what you're saying at all. Like, why is it worse to have these people come into the country than the other group of people? If you don't think they're less trustworthy, then what is even your criticism at this point? It doesn't seem like you're even really saying anything. You're just being arbitrary. It's just like, it doesn't make any sense. And that is sort of how it feels with Fuentes compared to a lot of the rest of the right-wingers at this point, because they have gradually shifted so far towards his position without actually coming out and saying the shit that he'll say. So it just doesn't... why would you ever, you know, follow Charlie Kirk when there's Fuentes? Doesn't make any sense.
Oh, you know, I want to have a question about Turning Point events. And you obviously lied about your question. Doesn't surprise me because you have deceit. But you know what? Honestly, I'm asked that question all the time. I don't platform trolls. And I don't platform and I don't discuss people or I don't debate with people that are not good faith actors. And
you debate Maoists and people who champion.
They can keep on yelling at how successful we are and our big events and well over 1,000 employees. But there's a lot of jealousy out there. We build, they complain. We succeed, we win. They blame the Jews. Thank you. Next question.
Dude. He thinks that goes so hard. He thinks it goes so hard.
It becomes bigger, so they were trying to not do that, but now, you know, he's so big that there is no kind of avoiding it, and I guess they've been having a beef. I'm actually not too clued in on this, but I'm interested.
And now they want to gatekeep me out and do this personality attack and say I'm a bitter loser in my basement from Chicago. I'm a kid from Chicago. And they slipped up there because they forgot for 1 second that they're pretending to be the spokesperson for exactly that kind of person. Tucker's mask slipped, and he forgot for a minute that for 8 years he's been pretending to care about the plight of weird kids in their parents' basement who are broke and didn't go to an Ivy League school, living in cities that don't matter like Chicago, not like Washington, D.C. or L.A. or New York. And that's why he had such disdain and contempt for me in that moment.
That's interesting. Wasn't Tucker Carlson born to like a really rich family? There's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, actually, that's kind of the goal, is to become rich so that you can birth your kid into a rich family. But I think that there is a bit of irony when Tucker Carlson does spend a lot of times criticizing the people in power, the elites, yet when Nick Fuentes, who is none of those things, wants to share his opinion, what he's going to get shamed for being not an elite. So criticize the elites, but criticize the people who aren't elites. What does that leave you with? You're kind of in like a Goldilocks moment where what exactly is your just right? I don't know. And I mean, Nick is young. He's 26 or 25, right? I mean, he's a young white guy. I mean, obviously, I think he's Mexican, but, you know. Listen, Mexicans, let's talk about this, okay? Which one are you? Are you guys white or are you not? Because, you know, Mexicans, no one loves saying the N-word more than Mexicans, but Mexicans, they become white the second that ICE rolls around, you know? They start waving that motherfucking flag. I don't know what the deal is here. But anyway, for the sake of the point that I'm going to make, Nick is a white man. And Tucker Carlson, for what his career's purpose is to make the country look a lot better for the next generation of young men, you know? And the majority of the young men in this country happen to be white, so let's focus on them. Give them a better future than the future that you, or the future that you were promised. You know, I feel like it is a little bit ironic.
So subtle rival.
Like yeah, weird kids in their basement. Like that's kind of what modern society has done to people. You don't think that that's the suffocation from social media, from social pressure, from norms, from feminism, from woke ideology that you complain about has created an environment where young men aren't able to thrive and flourish? It is a little weird.
Between Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes.
Isn't Chris Tyson's kid named Tucker? Yeah, if that's the first thing you thought about when the name Tucker was mentioned, you might have brain rot.
Okay, this is like actually like Asmongold, isn't it? This is like Asmongold for real.
Finally reached a head last night when Nick Fuentes exploded on Tucker for bad jacketing him and calling him a weird little gay.
Is this like alt-right corpse husband? What am I listening to?
Kid,
it's an AI channel.
Which in short describes the beef between the two, as each has accused the other of being a fed. The comments come from Tucker's latest interview with Candace Owens, who has been on a death spiral after her poorly hatched interview with
middle
Nick,
of the bell curve has
which
never
later
looked
turned
worse,
into a series
frankly.
of ratios, with Nick telling Candace exactly how he likes his sandwiches. Both pundits clearly feel...
Wait! I'm literally shaking right now. How will I ever survive being told to go make you a sandwich? You are really setting an example for real men everywhere. I'm trying my best to calm down and collect myself, but I'm a woman, so give me time. Take all the time you need. Turkey for
Nick Fuentes wants to convince you that Acheeto should be having children with people like Acheeto. That's what Nick Fuentes wants to convince you of, okay?
Lettuce, tomato, please. Easy mayo, thanks. No, I'm sorry. This guy's a fucking comedic genius, bro. I'm sorry, bro. He's so fucking funny. Oh my god. I don't want to hear shit about he doesn't believe the Holocaust happened. His comedic timing's impeccable, okay? I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Everyone can see that you're totally not a raging bitch. The thing is, I'm just not myself when I'm hungry. That's what I Oh, man. I think he's earned his right to deny the Holocaust, bro. He has. This shit is too funny.
Telling Candace exactly how he likes his sandwiches.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. It's just like, that is so funny. I just spit water out all over the place. That's not good. That's so funny, though.
Both pundits clearly feel threatened by Nick, and you can feel that energy throughout the clip. Here is what they had to say about Nick.
That's obvious to me. I've been around a long time. I know it when I see it.
Yeah, and I will say I don't understand it. We were very kind to him. Like, I truly, like, we almost said, like, we felt maybe he was a bit lonely. We should invite him back for dinner.
Okay, that's just, like, really, bitch? Okay. Listen, I like Candace, but I watched the interview with her and Nick. There's no way that was like, oh, we were so nice to him, bro. We can all watch it. I thought the podcast was going to be about the ongoing war, and you can talk about it, but it's like she was literally just like, you said this back in, like, 2020. You want to explain yourself? Like, oh my god. The whole thing was a bunch of, like, this you, and it wasn't actually, like, a constructive political discussion at all.
I mean, that's how good of an experience I had.
Clearly it's
and then it was a 180. So it's either A, it's being driven from, like, a little boy insecurity, and he just was so worried that he, like, just went on the attack because he doesn't know how to have normal relations after being banned everywhere.
Well, I think there's that could
be one element.
The angry gay kid thing going on. Yeah.
Or it's what you're saying, where he does this, he's lying to everybody and pretending that things are one way when it's not.
The thing is, I feel like basically the reason Nick's upset with that interview is because Nick always wants to make sure he gets his flowers, right? And Candace, a few years ago, was like Daily Wire, wouldn't have spoken about Israel, left Daily Wire or got fired or whatever because of the whole Israel stuff. And obviously Fuentes was doing it way before her. And with all these, as all of these right-wingers move towards Fuentes, he has to kind of try and, if they try and move towards him without giving him credit, he has to, like, punish them for it, right? Because he has to insert himself into that conversation and establish, I was doing this first, you can't trust this person sucks, you trust me, I'm way better. Because all these people are way more popular. Like Candace has had years on mainstream social media platforms to grow. Fuentes obviously hasn't had. Tucker, obviously handed a Fox job, been on TV for 20 or 30 years. So, gatekeeping final boss, basically, yeah. Yeah, just endless gatekeeping. The moment they try and move over, unless they say, no, Fuentes was right the whole time.
Not. I can say
why is he
lied.
Attacking Joe Kent?
It's actually so funny. Tucker Carlson, this is the world of adult politics, ladies and gentlemen. You're gay. No, you're gay. No, you're a Fed. You're a cop. You work for the CIA. It's literally, it's name-calling. It is all fucking name-calling. And every now and then, between the name-calling, you might talk a little bit about foreign aid. Oh, man. I love it. How do I get in on this, bro? I'd be so good at this. Yo, Pack God, go run for the RNC.
Kent, Joe Kent worked as a CIA contractor, paramilitary contractor. He was in the U.S. military for years fighting our neocon wars. And his wife was killed in Syria in one of those wars. Joe Kent is the single most sincere critic.
You sure about that?
And I would say the one with the most credibility in the United States to say this foreign policy is bad. It killed my wife. I was a part of it. Joe Kent is actually someone the CIA doesn't like at all.
Who the fuck is Joe Kent?
And for Nick Fuentes, who's like some child from Chicago, to go after him specifically, one congressional seat in Washington State.
That is random.
It's not random, though. It's the opposite of random. Joe Kent was #1 on the list of people they wanted to knock off, people who believe in our neocon foreign policy. They wanted Joe Kent out because he could stand up and say, I actually know. I've got the receipts. My wife was killed in Syria. You had to take that guy out. And Nick Fuentes. This
sounds like a cartoon mob boss, Joe Kent. Yeah, I mean, I don't have the knowledge for this, but I guess he's upset.
The little brush stuff they're pulling is so cringe. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the most off-putting things about it, to be honest. That is rubbing people the wrong way. Because it's like, I mean, that is who fuels the right-wing media machine. It is, and I say this with love, you know, with all the love in my heart, it is weird-ass in the basement posting crazy shit. That's what operates the right-wing media machine. It's people like Fuentes. It's people like Fuentes. Or people like Fuentes if he didn't have a lucrative political streaming career. You know? They're the engine. And they have been since fucking 2015. Okay? They have been since 2015. So, the idea that you're going to turn around and go, oh, he's just this weird kid in his basement. It's like, well, those are your guys. That's your guys, okay? Probably not a smart angle of attack. Fuentes actually does do attacks like that as well, to be fair. Fuentes in this does a bunch of virtue signaling. He acts like, I would never attack poor people. I would never attack poor white people. I would never attack, you know, an upstart young white guy trying to do the right thing. If you've ever seen Fuentes talk about John Doyle, who ostensibly he should be on the same team as for the most part. If you've ever heard Fuentes talk about John Doyle, you know this guy is lying through his fucking teeth in this rant. He goes insane talking about John Doyle, talking about how he's got, like, what? His parents are divorced, so he's got, like, arrested development, and he thinks of everything as, like, you know, he sees his father as the big, strong man, like in a 50s show, like, he's looking up at his father. He feels like a tiny little man. He just idolizes his dad, and he sees that as like the ideal thing to be. Yeah, I feel like I've shown this before. And I find it quickly. So any of the shit he's saying about, yeah, but again, Fuentes gets away with it because it's sort of like in-group attacking the in-group, right? Tucker Carlson isn't and never was the weird kid in the basement. He's been Nepo baby, you know, CIA dad the whole time. Like, here's a good example.
Funny about it, John Doyle was like on his hands and knees for the entire election, like licking shit off the floor for the Jews. And then when he did his election stream, nobody cared. He got like 1,000 viewers. And nobody cares about his tweets. I didn't even vote for Trump. I told people not to vote for Trump. And my tweets are the ones that are going viral. Like, I haven't seen anybody else's takes go viral other than mine. Like, in the day after the election, all my tweets and clips are getting millions and millions of impressions. My stream got 1 million views, 70,000 viewers. And I didn't even vote for Trump. I didn't even vote at all. I didn't even go and vote. I didn't even go. I told other people not to vote and they didn't. People wrote in John Pork and other stupid shit. And John Doyle, who was just begging, please, Israel, please. Nobody even cared. He had like a lame ass election stream. He gets no views. He can get shit on it. So I thought that was delicious. It's like the Chad doesn't even vote, gets all the credit versus the Virgin tried so hard, no one cares.
So good, man. There's like, this is a 9-minute clip. This is the one I was referencing.
Joe sent $10. Hey, Nick.
This shit's
it's
funny,
so true
man.
how you called Doyle Buddy from The Incredibles. He was literally going to make a video about The Incredibles, like the Beauty and the Beast video, and then never uploaded it after he betrayed you.
That's funny. Well, it's about, you know, there's right-wing themes in The Incredibles, but Oh, so funny. Yes. Yes, yes. Old Doyle. The old Doyle. Heck off, commie. As if. As if. Yes, Johnny. It's very charming. This thought he could roll with me. He was surprised.
Whoa.
This was kissing his sister in black and white with a fedora. And he got all mad because I'm like, it would be funny if he got in a car crash. Come on. Come on now. Yeah, but he's, look, he's a dork. So he just needs to man up and stop being a freak. But you know what it is? His parents are divorced. That's his problem. He's deeply fucked up because his parents are divorced. It's always the case.
$10.
Everyone that has beef with me has divorced parents because they think I'm like their dad. Like I saw someone on Twitter the other day, I swear. I saw someone on Twitter the other day and they're like, what was it? I put out some tweet about like hating women, like hating my wife. And this guy was like, this is horrible. You should love your wife. And it's like it's a joke, you know? It's like a bit, you know? But he's like, this is terrible. You should love your wife. This is a poisonous message. His kids are going to hate him. It's going to be a loveless home, and his kids are going to hate him, and he's going to ruin their life. And it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's just a joke, dude. Like, yeah, like all guys, I want to live alone. Like all guys, I value my independence. I like, you know, I don't want to be domesticated. Like, I think all guys, all real guys go through that, you know? And this guy's like, this is terrible. His kids are going to hate him. It's like, kids, I don't have a wife yet. What? Slow your roll, pal. Yeah, I'm going to love my wife. It's jokes. But then he goes on this screed and like the final reply in the thread, he goes, I'm going to get personal. My dad abused me and my mom, and we hate him, and he ruined my life, and blah. And it's like, okay. So these seething bitches, they all have daddy issues. All of these seething, and I hate to use that expression. I think it's an impolite expression, but that's really what they are. These seething bitches who are obsessed with me, people like Doyle and others, it's always daddy issues. Always. Because I'm like their father. I'm like their father. And I've been told that. I've been told that by many people. They say, you remind me of my father. And that's because I'm stoic, unflappable demeanor, absolute force of will, force of nature, limitless riz and confidence, can-do attitude, responsible, handsome, traditional, assertive, you know, so everything that they associate with a father, the archetype of the father they see in me, they want me to be their father, and then I'm not. And then they're like, I hate you. You're just like my dad. Literally, they're all fatherless. Fatherless behavior. Be a fucking man.
Dude, where is the bit where it talks about
my parents are being divorced?
John Doyle.
But most people have things they need to work through. Because they're giants. They're and your mom is pitting you against your dad, and your dad's doing weird shit or accused of doing stuff like that. You know, something happens. And so the subtext of everything that he writes is like, if a soldier saw what's going on now, they'd laugh and they'd turn and walk away. Because they're giants. They're towering. You know, little Johnny Doyle's 8 years old, 3 feet tall. He's got a little teddy bear and a Hercules. Dad, a giant marches away. A man's man. And the subtext of everything that he writes is something about, you know, it's screaming out for help. I'm emasculated. Screaming out, my masculinity's wounded. And so someone, maybe it was me, I failed him as a father. I should have been there for him.
Okay, anyway, I'm going to stop playing a clip. That's got barely any relevance to this. But yeah, he absolutely will go off on people that are exactly like him, right? People that are in the exact same position as him. he will absolutely talk down to and demean and berate all the time. So the whole rant he does here is just like totally performative, but it still goes kind of hard. It still goes hard.
Criticize this person. I don't know the criticism or who this person is. So
My wife was killed in Syria. You had to take that guy out. And Nick Fuentes, this child, this weird little gay kid in his basement in Chicago, is participating in a super PAC to bump off Joe Kent.
Dude, I am American. Okay. So fucking funny.
Really, bitch? We know this person
Actually
who's
awesome.
been banned everywhere is
Actually
not part of a
awesome.
super PAC. Like, this is so obviously not. This is, like, very bad faith, I feel like.
Dude,
Again,
Acheeto does not even know what a super PAC is. The idea you couldn't be involved in a super PAC if you're banned from social media. You don't even know what a super PAC is, dude. Come on now.
I don't know the criticism against him, but I know that for a fact. He's not part of any super PAC, or he's not. Again, this is like ad hom, logical fallacy. I don't care that he called him gay. I care that he's trying to make it seem like that is legit criticism. You know, that it's like because he's like an upset person who is mad at the world and is emotionally unstable and is flamboyant, that therefore his criticism is stemming from that place, right? That's the issue, is that he's trying to like delegitimize the criticism by calling him a fucking gay kid. That's the issue. That's not actually like a valid argument. I guess like he obviously has added a lot more arguments as part of that. That was the cherry on top. He said that like, no, this person, he's sincere. His wife died in Syria, and that is true. Like you know, it's a true argument, but I don't know. The rest of us kind of slop.
Like,
is he actually gay? I don't know. I don't know if there's like proof of it or not, but maybe. I mean, here's the problem: is that like if he was
the thing is that Fuentes literally says in that rant, he goes, "I would never talk down to an upstart young white guy," or like some shit. He says like almost exactly these words, like and describes like how he sees himself or how he thinks Tucker should see him. He says, "I would never." It's like, I've seen you do it. I've watched you do it. Oftentimes for like 10, 15 minutes at a time.
What do you think? Fucking Tucker Carlson actually knows that, or do you think he's just name calling?
I've been around this my whole life.
Is Joe Kent gay? Who is Tucker Carlson gay? Is everyone just gay? This is what we're doing now. Welcome to politics.
You know what that is? It's just an organized effort.
Yeah.
And he also did the thing that David Duke always did, including to me.
Bruh.
Which is be like, oh, yeah, it's my friend. And everyone's like, oh, Tucker Carlson's been endorsed by David Duke. I've been making like the anti-racist argument my whole life.
Right.
Like, I'm not for David Duke.
It's crazy how Tucker suddenly becomes anti-racist.
Do I think David Duke is right when he's against affirmative action? You bet I do. But I'm not for David Duke. But David Duke would try to discredit people by hugging them. And that's exactly what Fuentes did. He goes.
I mean, but he didn't vote for Trump though. Like I get what he's trying to say, that if you're someone that you know is a toxin to a political movement, then you can kind of attach yourself to certain things and infect it by having your image be associated with this other thing. Like I get that. You know, guilt by association is a real thing. And in politics, unfortunately, you have to, you know, choose your friends wisely. And I get that, right? But I don't think that, because if that was true, like if Nick wanted to sabotage Trump's a re-election, he would have said, I'm voting for Trump, right? But because then more people would say, oh, this outspoken Holocaust denier is voting for Trump. But he actually didn't. He said that I'm not voting for Trump. You shouldn't vote for Trump. So it gave them less ammo to smear Trump with. Not that there isn't, you know, enough, but I don't know. I don't think this is true. I don't think Nick views himself as like a suicide bomber where he can get into somewhere, run in there, explode. Like I don't agree with that.
Was that your?
So we actually watched. I'll pull it. We watched the full Fuentes segment here, okay? We actually watched last night this clip from Bradley Martin's interview with Fuentes, where Fuentes tells the story of the Trump dinner.
And
it is actually, this is like one of the most funny, insane celebrity stories I think I've ever heard. It's like so absurd.
Story of the dinner. Before we arrived in Mar-a-Lago, this girl who was with us, Karen Giorno, she was getting some like intel about how to deal with Trump, like how to play this. And so there was this lawyer whose name was Nick, And he sent all this information to Ye about how we're going to deal with Trump. And it said, if we eat in the dining room, that means this. If we eat in the patio, he wants to show you off. If he says this, it was just like this like play-by-play. How do we handle Trump?
Interesting.
And so we're pulling up to the dinner, and we have all this intel. And Ye said, what do you think about this? And I said, I don't know. Send it to me. So he forwards it to me, to my phone. Well, it turns out he accidentally forwarded it to a lawyer that Trump uses as well, whose name is also Nick.
Oh, my God.
So he tried to send it to me. I never got the text. I was like, that's weird. I didn't get it. We said, oh, well,
Huge
we walked in.
moment.
He accidentally sent all this intel to a lawyer that Trump actually uses. So in the middle of the dinner, Trump gets a phone call. He goes, just 1 second. It was this guy. It was this lawyer. And the guy says, like, hey, Trump, this is a hit job. They are here to take you out. Like, they sent me this intel by accident. They must have told them that this was a setup. So Trump hangs up the phone and his demeanor instantly changes.
Holy shit.
And he starts, and my right hand of God, he immediately starts dropping the F-bomb. Motherfucking this and that. Just like, I've never seen him that angry.
Damn,
so
yeah.
furious. But it was also very subtle. He starts telling Ye, because the idea was Ye was going to run for president and was going to ask Trump to be his VP. So Trump starts telling these stories about all the black people that he helped that betrayed him. That was the subtext.
So, dude, dude, is that, it just sounds so Trump. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, and someone saying, chat, you believe this? Yeah, I believe this. Yes, I believe this. It fits so well. It fits perfectly. Trump finds out that there's a chance Kanye might be setting him up to fuck him over. And immediately starts ranting about all the times that black people have crossed him. Yeah, that 100% sounds like what happened, yes. Yeah, I believe that.
I freed this rapper in China. The basketball player.
Brittany Griner?
No, LeVar Ball.
Oh, he was in China?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got like arrested or something. It was like an international incident.
Okay.
And so Trump was telling the story about how he freed this guy. And he says, so this basketball player, he's on the tarmac, he said, and the Chinese soldier slapped him across the face, the basketball player, and said, that's for disrespecting President Trump. That was the first story. The second story was about the rapper in, I think it was Norway or Sweden. I forget who. I think it was A$AP Rocky.
Yeah.
Got arrested up there. And he says, and I called up the president of Sweden, and I said, listen, you mother, you better release him right now. And the moral of the story was these were all ingrates. These were all black celebrities that he helped that betrayed him. And then he goes to Ye, and I hosted your wife, Kim Kardashian, and I released these, or commuted the sentence of these people on her behalf.
Yeah.
He goes, and she is a disgusting human being, he said. Yeah.
Dude, he's savage, bro.
Yes.
Fuck.
He goes, and she's such a disgusting, he goes, and you could tell her I said that. I want you to tell her. Tell her I said that. She's a disgusting human being. And I was sitting there like, well, you know, I'm just like a guest.
What was Ye's reaction?
He had the same reaction that I did. He was totally taken aback by it, but he goes, that's still my wife. You know, he goes, that's my wife you're talking about. And so it's very tense. And then then Trump was like kicking us out, basically. Yeah. He said, you know, oh, your airport is right across the street. I think it's time for you to go.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And Karen is like kicking him under the table saying, remember to ask him what you came here to ask him. And Ye goes, oh yeah, will you be my vice president? And Trump loses his mind. And he goes, you can win at a lot of things, but you'll never win at this. He goes, you could be a celebrity.
You say you believe this happened. Yes, I believe this happened. This is exactly how I can see that. Like the writing is so perfect, you know? It's Fuentes is a very good, you know, speaker, good with comedic timing. He couldn't write this, okay? He couldn't write something this convincing, okay? No, this is 100%. This is how these people act, 100%.
Remember to ask him what you came here to
so
ask
crazy.
him. And Ye goes, oh, yeah, will you be my vice president? And Trump loses his mind. And he goes, you can win at a lot of things, but you'll never win at this. He goes, you could be a celebrity, you're talented. He goes, but you'll never win at this. You better not run. Lost his mind. He had his arms folded like a mobster. I thought he was going to start swinging. Like that's how aggressive his demeanor was. Like straight up like a gangster, like Tony Soprano.
That.
I do too. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
Even though, and even went to me. He goes, you're a smart guy. Tell him he can't win. He can never win. You tell him now. He can never win. I know you work for him, but he can't win. And I was just frozen. I was like, I don't know. Maybe he can win. You know?
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, it was nuts. And so then we got kicked out. These other people wanted a picture with Trump and Ye. Trump refused to take a picture.
Oh, he's a savage.
Yeah, it was ugly. But
that didn't go too well, huh?
No.
Okay. So yeah, that's the story of Fuentes' dinner at Mar-a-Lago. It's the first time I actually heard the full story. Was last night listening to that.
Meet all
Smash, marry, kill Tucker, Nick, and Trump. All right, bro. Can we not?
these people show up. Hi, I'm Nick Fuentes. Can I get my picture with you? That's a campaign to destroy credible voices on the right. And Fuentes is part of it. And I know I'm inviting endless trouble by saying this because...
Yeah, but it's not true.
You know, this is a kid with a lot of spare time, but it's just a fact. And I've seen it a lot.
Yeah.
And I you can believe me or not, but I know what I'm talking about.
I can confirm he's dishonest. I mean, there's no, so it's like you use that as your, like, I could not determine what his motives were. And I said, you know what? I don't have time for this. I gave you a fair chance, gave you a fair shake, and you are a fundamentally dishonest human being. You know, there was no reason to do it. If he had not done that show and screamed and yelled, his followers would have been like, oh.
Okay, so here's the problem with this, is like for the longest time I've been told, and from what I've seen, this is like totally true, that Nick Fuentes, I mean, you don't need proof to know that he's been banned. That's all true. His YouTube channel's gone. His Twitter was gone for the longest time. He's been debanked. He's been on the no-fly list. Like, all of these things are totally true, right? And so the thing that I struggle to understand is like, why would someone who's as young and has as much of a future as he did give up all of this stuff? There's no like guarantee that he's gonna make it. You know, his life gets turned upside down at such a young age, and I can't help but ask, like, okay, if all this is true, if all of it is just that he, you know, doesn't believe that he's insincere, I don't know if you ruin your life for something that you don't truly believe in, you know? So maybe you don't like what he talks about. Maybe you think he's too extreme. You think he's a Nazi. Okay, then how is he like insincere?
Okay, guys, we'll give Acheeto that one. We'll give Acheeto this one. This is a good analysis now, guys. We can give him this one, I think. We give him this one. Fuentes probably wouldn't have destroyed all of his mainstream connections and opportunities if he didn't genuinely believe the shit he was saying. Right? I think we could, that's right, isn't it, guys? I think that's pretty spot on. That's okay. We can give Acheeto this one.
Sincere in that. That doesn't make sense because he's retarded. So you think that someone, maybe he's retarded, right? But again, you don't think he actually means what he said. Like again, it doesn't make sense to me that on one hand he's retarded, but on another hand, if he's a retard, then why would you take him seriously? That I don't know. It doesn't seem to make sense. I think he's sincere in what he says, meaning like he actually believes what he says, and I don't know. It doesn't seem like one big gimmick.
That was an interesting conversation between two people who agreed some, disagreed some, and like that was it. It was interesting that he got there. He doesn't want to be, and I can tell you that he doesn't want to be anywhere but where he is. He doesn't want to have normal relations, and it did sort of feel, and I said that to him, that he's like responding.
Like this guy gets lied about so much. Like I feel like there's so much out there that is true about him that you can say is distasteful and horrible and repugnant. And so why not? Because I feel like people, what's ended up happening is like with what Nick Fuentes says, there has already been a coordinated effort to argue against it and to destroy it and show him as like a villain, that you don't need to lie about him, you know? And I think the reason they're lying is because the truth hasn't quite worked. He's all over Instagram, he's blowing up, and they're like, okay, well, we've said that he's anti-Semitic, and we've said that he's a racist Nazi, and all of the things that he said, we've argued with and we've debunked or whatever.
Okay, so wait, does Acheeto think he is anti-Semitic and a Nazi, or what? I'm struggling to find where Acheeto quite lands on this, you know?
Even know half the things he said, to be honest with you, but He's clearly still standing, and I think that upsets them, and so they have to, like, make up shit, which I don't like. I don't like making up shit about people. That just bothers me, right? It's like when Hassan says, like, oh, Tectone is a rapist, or, you know, Nuxtaku's a pedophile. It's like, well, they've already said a lot of things that you can argue with, so why not just argue with those things instead of, like, falsely accusing them of, like, being a pedophile? You know? That bothers me. Would you crack...
Falsely?
Dean Withers. Yo, realistically, bro, you've only been in this chat for about 5 minutes. I'm like this close to never seeing your
what was
bro
that?
being a pedophile. You know? That bothers me. Would you crack Dean Withers? Yo, realistically, bro, you've only been in this chat for about 5 minutes. I'm like this close to never seeing your name again for a dumbass question like that, bro.
Because why are you attacking me?
Well,
why are you attacking Dave Smith?
Huh?
What is the issue with Dave Smith? And he couldn't answer the question.
Exactly.
He couldn't answer the question. He was just like, well...
The fakest thing I've ever seen.
And I'm like, why do you hate Dave Smith over Joe Rogan?
But Nick did not take this lightly. With what many are saying is his greatest clapback of all time, here is the uncut 7-minute response.
Oh, God.
I'm being accused
All right, bro, get ready for 7 minutes. All right, lock in.
of being the CIA by
Whoa,
Peter
a 7-minute
Thiel's
video?
Best
Whoa.
Boys, by Tucker Carlson
in.
with his daddy. Tucker Carlson's, and you know what? Here's the other thing. Tucker Carlson said I'm a weird gay kid in the basement. Yeah, and I'm from Chicago. You're right.
Ayo, pause. Ayo, pause.
Huh.
Well, okay, you're not right
Ayo,
about all of
pause.
that. But I wasn't born with
Freudian
a silver
slip, question
spoon
mark?
in my mouth. Tucker Carlson says I have so many trust
You're
funds.
actually, you're so low IQ and filtering yourself. If you don't see that that was intentional. If you don't recognize that was intentional, you are showing that you were a complete midwit. Unfortunately. If you see, oh, Freudian slip, oh, accidentally say he's gay, you're mentally disabled. You're like you are below midwit. We are sub midwit. Terrible place to be. Absolutely terrible place to be.
I never have to work. Tucker went to a
Does he actually say that? Does Tucker flex like that?
$45,000.
Dude, he started this fucking cheap-ass Zyn knockoff company. It is so shit. I tried it. Dude, it is so ass. It's called Alp. If you're gonna do nicotine pouches, just stay with, like, the 6 milli Zyns or do whatever
Wait, is he
Russian,
saying
like, 600 gram tranquil...
He's saying he tried Tucker Carlson's Zyns? Is that what he's saying? What? There's no way Acheeto bought Tucker Carlson Zyns, right? This is a joke. This is a bit or something I'm not getting.
Have to work. Tucker went to a $45,000.
Does he actually say that? Does Tucker flex like that? Dude, he started this fucking cheap-ass Zyn knockoff company. It is so shit. I tried it. Dude, it is so ass. It's called Alp. If you're gonna do nicotine pouches, just stay with, like, the 6 milli Zyns or do whatever Russian, like, 600 gram tranquilizer nicotine shit that they do in Russia, you know? Don't do...
Zyns. What are we fucking doing, dude? What is going on in Acheeto's head? To where he's making that purchase? How does anyone, other than, like, the most retarded boomer, buy, like, Tucker Carlson branded products?
Year selective Ivy League school in New England. Tucker Carlson's daddy was a Reagan appointee.
Or is sucking on, insert British term for cigarette here, the way to go?
Well, okay, they were the $5. Would you ever be a lip packer or is sucking on insert British term cigarette the way to go? I don't even know what you're trying to say there, but it sounds gay as fuck, okay?
What's really?
Thank you for the $5.
Years of bragging about being an elite.
Thank you for the 5 membership
bragging
buggers.
about
Thank
being
you.
so out of touch and so rich. Now he's going to be the spokesperson for all the white people. Now he's going to roll up his sleeve.
Pause this. Thank you, Bargus, for the 5 gifted. Huge appreciate it. Thank you.
Bragging about being an elite. Bragging about being so out of touch and so rich. Now he's going to be the spokesperson for all the white people. Now he's going to roll up his sleeves. I just like to hunt and fish in my log cabin. I care about Klarna and credit card debt.
I care about Klarna, man.
But then when it comes to me, I'm one of the real disaffected white people. You want to talk about me and them? I am them. He says Nick Fuentes is leading all of the disaffected young white men. I am a disaffected young white man. I was a precocious, intelligent, young white college student who went to Boston University, who was pro-Trump and red-pilled by Trump and animated by Trump's message of America first. And I asked questions about
what is disaffected. It's like when something happens in the world and you're just kind of like done with it and you've gotten numb to it, but it's still like bothering you every single day. Like if the weather every day is bad and wherever you live, at a certain point you're just disaffected. You know, you're numb to it, but it still very much bothers you and you'd like it to change, but you're kind of hopeless. It's like kind of black-pilled, I would say is a good word.
Israel, and I was punished for it.
Very, very wise.
Very wise. He might be one of the best speakers like of all time. He's very like eloquent. He very much delivers the information in a way that I think is exceptional.
I did it years before Tucker Carlson started talking about Israel last year. And I sacrificed, and I was targeted by the ADL, by the SPLC, by the federal government.
Acheeto is actually like, he is just like, he's got the mindset of like a German citizen. Do you know what I mean? He's got the mindset of a 30s German citizen at all times. I can't say it's just a tinderbox. But there's a tinderbox in there, okay? Just needs one spark. Tinderbox in this guy's head, just waiting. He sees Tectone. Wait, where's? I think someone sent the clip. He is just like the absolute guy that is just primed to just accept all the most insane ideas. I don't know why. I don't know what sort of person this is. What causes this? It's very funny though.
Up when he talks, he's just like, I don't know, he's got like a political delivery to what he's saying, to where I feel like I gotta get up and march. I have a dream.
Both Candace and Tucker were a part of. Candace and Tucker had nothing to say about Israel.
That is true. For the anti-censor, that is so true. It's like, I hate that as right-wingers. Like, one of the things that I think is the most important thing that the right wing has ever stood for is free speech, by far, right? Like, I am a person who speaks freely, and if my right to do that was ever jeopardized, I would go and support.
I'm a person who speaks freely. Very brave, very brave. Very brave.
The side that would protect my right. And it's just kind of crazy that, he has been heavily censored.
Acheeto is saying a lot of stuff that the government would want to crack down on. Acheeto is saying a lot. What takes do you think Acheeto's given that the government would want to crack down on, guys? This guy's got to really watch it, okay? Free speech is a big deal to this guy. I don't think Acheeto has ever said anything the government has ever been close to making illegal or cracking down on it anyway. The 14 words, yeah?
And I don't know, people were silent about it. A lot of people didn't care. A lot of people, even on the right, were fine with it. I think that shit's whack. Would you pick Death Grips or JPEG Mafia? I don't really listen to either of those, but Death Grips does have a few good songs.
Until it became unavoidable last year. Not popular, but unavoidable. And now they want to gatekeep me out and do this personality attack and say I'm a bitter loser in my basement from Chicago. I'm a kid from Chicago. And they slipped up there because they forgot for 1 second that they're pretending to be the spokesperson for exactly that kind of person. Tucker's mask slipped, and he forgot for a minute that for 8 years he's been pretending to care about the plight of weird kids in their parents' basement who are broke and didn't go to an Ivy League school, living in cities that don't matter like Chicago.
I literally do not remember ever adding this guy on Steam. And listen, the reality is, he's right. Like, the truth is, like, a lot of people pretend to care about the youth and the future of our generation for money. And, maybe some of them even do care, but they don't care more than they care about making a shitload of money. They would prefer if things were better for the future, but it's not their number one priority. Their number one priority is talking about how much they care so they can monetize it. And I don't know. I think at a certain point, you either care or you have to get the fuck out. You either are really doing something politically, like in the system, to make the world a better place for young people, or you're not. Like, that's it, And for myself, I don't know. I don't really do political content. I talk about a lot of shit, and I have political opinions. I think everything that I speak about is in some way or in some way or another influenced by my beliefs and stuff, but I don't do political stuff as my main thing. I do a shitload of things. But the people who are mainly political, you need to stop. Like, it has to be, it's all or nothing, and it's time to get serious about it, you know? I don't know what
is
I
he
don't
even saying?
know that Tucker ever advocated for.
What is he even saying? What is he saying? I don't even understand his point here.
About is talking like in the system to make the world a better place for young people, or you're not. Like, that's it, you know? And for myself, I don't know. I don't really do political content. I talk about a lot of shit, and I have political opinions. I think everything that I speak about is in some way or another, influenced by my beliefs and stuff, but I don't do political stuff.
Acheeto's everything is political pilled? Acheeto's, this guy's very high-minded.
I do a shitload of things, but the people who are mainly political, you need to stop. Like, it has to be, it's all or nothing, and it's time to get serious about it, you know? I don't know that Tucker ever advocated
I don't know what he's trying to express.
Maybe I just wasn't aware.
Don't know.
Well, I think that it's sort of implicit
I'm
with
totally
what
lost.
you're doing with politics, where there's one thing there's a clip of him arguing with Ben Shapiro where let me find this clip. Like, look at this, for example. He basically said that there are certain jobs that young people would be replaced by AI, that there should be like a law in place to stop that from happening because it's so bad or something. Like, take a look at this.
If you wake up one morning and you find yourself in a society where 23-year-olds with 4-year college degrees and like initiative who aren't smoking weed every day, if they can't make enough to buy a car, much less a home, much less get married, much less have children, then why should you be surprised when half of them say they prefer socialism?
Well,
you should not be surprised.
I agree to a certain extent. I think that the question is...
Now, look, again, Tucker Carlson making a statement.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't want this fucking guy to interject over me here, but basically, he's advocating for young people, like 23-year-olds who have initiative to get a good future, right? To have a society that allows them to flourish.
You talk in the book about technology and how it's shifting and taking away jobs from folks.
Yes.
And you make specific reference to truck driving and the fact that there are going to be these automated cars on the roads. So would you, Tucker Carlson, be in favor of restrictions on the ability of trucking companies to use this sort of technology specifically to, sort of artificially maintain the number of jobs that are available in the trucking industry?
Are you joking? In a second. In a second. In other words, if I were president, would I say to DOT, Department of Transportation, we're not letting driverless trucks on the road, period. Why? Really simple. Driving for a living is the single most common job for high school educated men in the
Yeah, so I mean, this right here is proof that he cares about the future of high school educated men in this country, right? This is basically saying, I care about their job, I care about their flourishing, and he has, both with explicitly and implicitly championed these things as very important, and I think that it's sort of,
not like
a little bit ironic.
Washington, D.C. or L.A. or New York. And that's why he had such disdain and contempt for me in that moment.
Right, young people, but I think the little guy is like the everyday Joe. No, because he was basically saying, he was calling Nick Fuentes a child. He was saying he's a child who's weird and he's in his basement. So he was definitely talking about the type of person that he does champion.
Between the personality attacks, he's lonely, he's weird, he lives in a basement. I'm sorry, did you guys forget that that's your target audience that you're trying to pander to? Did you forget that for 2 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of what he literally did pander to that audience with that clip that I just played.
And I'm the inauthentic person? I am that person. I am a spokesman for the disaffected white man because I am one, and you two are not. Candace Owens got married to British royalty worth $200 million after meeting him for 2 weeks on Zoom. What the fuck is even that about?
What the fuck?
After meeting him for 2 weeks on Zoom, what the fuck is even that about?
Jesus.
And Tucker Carlson's dad ran the CIA's propaganda empire fighting the Soviet Union. He went and fought with the Contras when he was in college. When I was in college, I was doing a webcam show in my friend's dorm room criticizing Israel. So who's the CIA cutout? Who's the inauthentic one? Who's the crazy, hateful one? I would never describe a well-meaning young white person who's trying to get ahead as a weird kid in his basement from Chicago. And what is that supposed to mean? What is wrong with being from Chicago? What is wrong with being weird? What is...
Yeah, Chicago catching strays for absolutely no reason. They have good deep dish pizza. I fuck with it. Chicago's like a, you know, it's cute. The big silver ball, the big marble.
What a novel thing to say about Chicago.
Deep
dish pizza.
Chicago.
Very novel.
Been there once. Might go back at some point. I don't agree with Tucker on most things, but he is knowledgeable and very funny. Yeah, I mean, listen, respectfully, I've only watched one episode of the Tucker Carlson show. I watched the episode of him and Putin, and then I watched the episode of him and Tim Dillon, because Tim Dillon's very funny. He's my favorite comedian. But I have seen plenty of clips of him. I have the general gist of his program and you know, what he believes and stuff. And so, yeah, this was disappointing.
Wrong with living in your basement? That's a lot of people because of the problems you claim to care about.
This was disappointing. He had positive expectations of Tucker Carlson after watching that content.
Yeah.
Tucker's at Turning Point USA extolling the predatory nature of usury and how it's preventing young white men from getting homes. And then the week after says, you're in your mom's basement. So which is it? So which is it?
Yeah. That's kind of, yeah, like literally, how are you supposed to get out of the basement when the world is like so hard to make money in? But to be fair, I mean, Nick, I mean, this guy's a millionaire. Nick is a millionaire. Like, I heard
Klarna and people going into debt to order pizzas and home ownership being impossible.
I mean, I'm very lucky, you know, I'm in a position where I can just talk on camera about certain things and try to be exuberant and entertaining, and I get paid for it, right? And so obviously I'll credit myself for having the knowledge and entrepreneurial incentive to like get this shit going. But at the end of the day, like, you know, not everyone can be a streamer, not everyone can be a YouTuber and sit in front of a fucking camera. Like, I fully get it, you know? XQC was literally flaming someone.
Wait, my shit's lagging, is it?
For having a shit knife. And then the person responds with, yeah, not all of us can sit on our ass and do nothing all day.
Or do you think that's a contemptible, low-status thing to be ridiculed and mocked?
Candace's husband has a shitload of millionaire connections, especially in Canada. That's why she has such a hard-on for Canada. Yeah, you guys probably know more about these people than I do, but Candace having access to hundreds of millions is kind of ridiculous. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions. Not hundreds of thousands, which is already crazy. Access to hundreds of thousands can give you a fucking great life. Hundreds of millions. What do you do with hundreds of millions?
Wow.
Like, that's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
I don't understand.
It's a lot of money.
Man.
It's
I mean,
very big
cool,
number.
I would love to have hundreds of millions, but at a certain point, you know, I have to question someone who has access to hundreds of millions talking to average people. Like, you don't live in the same world. You can't truly talk to people and claim to understand what they're going through. I don't believe it, man. I mean, listen, obviously all of the political candidates are like that. There's no one who comes from poverty who's going to be running for office. Or sorry, who is comes from currently poverty. Like Trump, I mean, he's worth billions, right? So that's one thing on its own. I mean, a lot of this is pandering, but especially the people who are like commentators. Like, dude, really? Hundreds of millions?
Guys, now is actually a great time to shill, I think. So guys, 384 people watching right now, 42 streams, so it's 340 people. Please move their cursor thumbs up and clicking it, or pressing a thumbs up on the mobile device. That'd be hugely appreciated. If you want to take your support one step further, you can donate directly through the stream elements link in the pin chat message. You can also buy a membership to the channel, gift a membership to the channel, gift a whole bunch of memberships randomly throughout the chat, buy a super chat which will highlight your message and read it out on TTS, or buy a super sticker, which is a YouTube image or GIF that we highlight in chat. They'll describe it to you. You can go to discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, reddit.com/r/Kuihman, or discord.gg/Kuihman. I can't remember. Did I say Twitter twice? I can't remember. Fuck. I'm retarded. Either way, donate, like, subscribe. I'm putting a goal up in chat. I did misspeak hard. Oh well. Epic goal, :D in chat now.
Millions and you're talking like this, like, I don't know. I think streamers, honestly, like, people think streamers are out of touch. Dude, streamers interact with more people on the daily basis than most people do in a year by reading chat. And those
Thank you, Quella, for the 5 gifted memberships. Huge appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What an absurd thing to say. Streamers aren't out of touch. They talk to hundreds of people on a daily basis through chat. So, I just don't even know what angle to say that's retarded from. You're obviously selecting for the most online people when you look at a streamer chat. So it's just first of all, it's just a cycle of out-of-touch people. The streamer is probably more out of touch because they're getting paid to just sit there and talk to a fucking computer. At least people in chat usually have like a job or something. Just that there's so many different ways in which this is like the... Thank you, Q, for the €5. Huge appreciate it. Thank you.
Smile.
That it's just so retarded from every angle.
Those are a collection of hundreds of thousands of people. So if you're to view chat as one entity that reflects an average person, then you've basically...
But it doesn't reflect the average person. It's not real interaction.
Familiarize the streamer with normality, with averageness. So I think streamers are kind of actually in touch in a weird way. I mean, obviously you have XQC thinking that, you know, buying a $2 million Richard Mill is like normal, but like
Save the $5 easy. Thank you.
I think that like commentators who speak to the younger generation about like what needs to change and what the issues are, it's a little bit, you know, at a certain point I can't take it too... I don't know. It's a little bit LARP. There's some LARP there.
Who's pandering here? Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't you. You were born to the Swanson family fortune and your daddy who ran the CIA. You know, my dad didn't even graduate college. My dad worked for the tollway. His dad died of a drug overdose in the 70s. My mother's father was a garbage man in Chicago, and he committed suicide. He was a veteran of World War II. Who's the CIA cutout? Who's the poser? Who is America? I am America. Chicago is America. That's an American story. I didn't go to Yale Law School and suck Peter Thiel's dick and then get a sinecure at a venture capital firm advising Rebecca Mercer and writing Hillbilly Elegy and talking about it at the Aspen Institute. That's your biographical credibility? How many of these disaffected white people that love Trump because he's racist went to Yale Law School and got plucked out by Peter Thiel, whoever he even is? Peter Thiel with his fixation with the Antichrist, this homosexual who's involved with the CIA, who wants to live
Who the fuck is Peter
and govern
Thiel?
the world with AI.
It's so over, man. It's actually just so over. I thought Peter Thiel was mainstream now. I thought everyone knew Peter Thiel. Apparently not Acheeto. Apparently not Acheeto.
Yeah, that's really relatable. That's really relatable. Do another show with him and Curtis Yarvin. Do another show. Do the 47th show with JD Vance. It is insulting, and it is insulting to everybody's intelligence for Tucker to sit there and say he doesn't know his dad is in the CIA, for him to say that I'm in the CIA.
Isn't his dad actually in the CIA? Isn't that confirmed?
What a joke. What a sick joke.
His dad's dead.
Sick joke.
Especially after everything that's happened to me. And unlike what Candace Owen says, she says, what happened to him when he was 18? What happened to me is ongoing.
Yeah.
Okay? Unlike Candace Owens and Tucker,
Yeah.
I never got a contract with Ben Shapiro and Rupert Murdoch.
Tucker has they both have hundreds of millions.
On Maker Support. I was on Patreon. I was on D Live.
Fuck is Patreon?
I had to fight for everything I have. I didn't get $1 million contract from Turning Point. I didn't get $20 million from Fox News. My daddy didn't get me a job in Arkansas.
20 million.
To add some additional housekeeping, a claim from Tucker that is getting eviscerated online is that he only recently found out his dad was involved with the CIA.
Okay, I don't think we care about the rest of that.